We, hello. Yeah, the second presenter will be taking you on the problems, market and solution so far. Now, before I start, I want to let you know that we'll be having a series of training sessions for the month. It promises to be a September to remember. We have a series of training sessions lined up every Thursday of the week throughout the month of September. Now, like I said, okay, once again, my name is Dr. Musa Tanko. I'm the field investigator of P4 Gold and Cattle Fertility Awareness Project in Nigeria for Adamawa State. I'm privileged to present to you the big future of AI in Nigeria. Now, before I start, let me just give you my contents. First of all, I always like to start my presentation with a quote, and then I give you the overview of AI in Nigeria, and then we'll look at some of the advances in semen preservation, and then we now move straight to some of the advances too in AI equipment, in artificial insemination equipment development, and then I finally talk to you on the big future of it so far. Now, next slide, please. If you can hear me, next slide. Okay, I'll be taking my quote from Albert Einstein, and it says, if you want to know the future, you take a look at the past. Now, on this note, I want us to take a look at the past of AI in Nigeria. Next slide. Now, before I give you a brief overview of AI in Nigeria, I just want to define what AI is to give us the context of what we'll be discussing today. Now, AI is the technique that enables the introduction of sperm into the reproductive system of an animal through a specialized equipment. And the first AI that was carried out in a farm in the Southwest. It in 1946. However, the first documented AI so far was carried out in NAPRI, that's the National Animal Production and Research Institute, Zaria, in 1976, where Sokoto Gudali bull chilled semen preserved for 3 days prior to use was actually used for insemination successfully. Next slide. Now, of all the assisted reproductive technologies so far in Nigeria, I think the common AI technology that has been in use so far is the common ART technology that has been used so far is AI. It accounts for about 75% in the field. Most of the corporate farms and even commercial dairy farms and some smallholder farms actually use artificial insemination in their farms to improve the genetic potential of their cows. Now, it now follows by IVF, which accounts for about 22%, and also MOETS, that's multiple ovulation embryo transfer, which accounts for about 8%, and also OPU, that's ovum pickup, which is about 4%, and then Transgenesis and then cloning so far is none, has been carried out. That's actually come to my knowledge so far. Next slide, please. Now, if we want to talk about advancement in terms of AI, we want to look at semen processing. Semen processing is very, very important in terms of ensuring the quality and also the quality of the semen, and also the success rate of any AI activities we carried out. Now, one of the preservation methods that have been one of the major advances in the preservation methods is biomimetic colloid centrifugation. One potential disadvantage of AI is that the natural selection mechanism within the cow reproductive system to select the best spermatozoa for fertilization may be bypassed when AI is utilized, and as such, a biomimetic centrifugation procedure was actually instituted to make sure that viable and also robust semen, which are capable of fertilizing the ovum of a cow when being released, just as to mimic the condition that is in the natural system of the cow itself. Now, the next is density gradient chromatography. This is quite a bit advanced. This actually helps in removal of dead cells, viruses, and also bacteria from semen. This actually ensures you have a very good and viable semen simulation so far. Now, next, if you can hear me, next slide. Now, another advancement is in the area of cryopreservation. As been written there, is a long-time preservation of biological materials at sub-zero temperature, where all the metabolic activity are halted, keeping its viability intact for use in the future. Now, this technique was actually designed by, was actually theorized by he was a theoretician. He first performed cryopreservation on rodents to show how this preservation technique will help in most of the preservation of biological materials as of then. As you can see there, glycerol, one of the major breakthroughs was in the fact that glycerol was actually used as an extender in preserving biological materials, but of recent it has been replaced by dimethylformamide. Dimethylformamide actually mimics the physiological condition of most of the biological materials there is. It has been found out that over time, glycerol actually react with some of the biological materials. At the end of the day, when the material is to be used, it actually loses its viability over time. So that's the breakthrough so far, the replacement of glycerol by dimethylformamide in the preservation of biological materials. So next slide. Okay, one of the areas in which advancement has been made so far too is in the area of sex semen. Sex semen, you could actually get a semen that you use to inseminate a cow for you to get high-far calves or high-far bulls, as you so prefer to. And the technology actually used for this is a flow cytometer. This has been developed for a very long time, around 1989, thereabout. So the principle behind this is the fact that the X and Y chromosomes present in the spermatozoa stain differently when stained with a dye known as host chait 3334. Known as host chait 3334. When being passed through a laser beam, it actually fluoresces the fluorescence that will bring the it shows the brightness of it. The X and Y chromosome actually differs. This is owing to the fact that the X chromosome actually contains a lot of DNA in it compared to the Y chromosome, and it's quite bigger than the Y chromosome. So it passes through the laser beam and also to the electrodes for them to actually be separated. Now, a lot of corporate farms and commercial farms actually are interested in this technology. And over time, it's been found out that as the conception rate in trying to use sex semen in artificial insemination is very low, and the technology is quite slow. It takes quite a lot of time for you to separate some of the semen into X and Y, male and female semen, high-far and wool calves semen, so to say. Now, a company actually has been able to overcome this this condition, and it has patented the use of this technology. Precisely, if I can remember very well, is Oversat, and the company in the US also, or Canada, thereabout, has been able to patent this technology, and the market is quite opening and booming for sex semen. Now, next slide. Another area in which advances have been made in spermatozoa technology is in the area of conservation biology. A lot of endangered species have been, semen have been collected from a lot of endangered species to conserve them. For example, this is shown in my slides, a bull rhino semen being collected for AI breeding conservation. Next slide, please. Now, another big breakthrough is in the area of artificial testicles. Now, a standard bull will produce about 6.8 to 8.4 mils of ejaculate, mils of semen per ejaculate. Now, scientists have been able to come about a system in which they use stem cell, they convert stem cell into sperm cell. Stanford University and Manifort State University, and a biotech company in San Francisco, that's EVMEDS, have been able to patent this technology, and you can use any stem cell, convert it into sperm cell, and then use for your artificial insemination. Now, let's look at the next. In terms of some of the breakthroughs in AI kits advancement, next slide, please. We could see that over time, inseminators actually perform artificial insemination, and they will have to do it alongside rectal palpation, blindly to catch hold the cervix through the rectal wall before inseminating cows. Now, with the advent of artificial insemination endoscope and go on. You wouldn't be needing that. The endoscope screen actually shows you the landmark. That's the survey. You could just now imagine the big future. Imagine a cow of the future that can produce about 80 liters of milk per day at peak lactation. Now imagine a cow that can produce an average averagely more than 150 days a day in milk. Then imagine a cow with a conception rate at first artificial insemination at about 99.9%. And then imagine again a cow that will consume less than 2% of its body weight in terms of dry matter intake. And imagine again a cow that has a reproductive life of more than 20 years. Imagine too, a cow that has natural immunity against all the tags, that's the trans-animal boundary diseases and other tropical diseases that you can think of. Imagine as much as you can. Now, here's the big now, the big future is in technology, CRISPR technology. Unmute yourself first. Okay. CRISPR actually stands for cluster regularly interspersed short palindromic repeats technology. That is a biotechnology technique by which the genome of a living organism can be changed or improved upon. It is CRISPR-Cas9 that serves as a natural defense for almost all bacteria that you know of. Now, this technique is considered highly efficient in bioengineering and in medicine too. It allows for genome to be edited in vivo with extreme high precision at a very cheap rate. At a very cheap rate is one of the cheapest technology in terms of gene editing so far that has been discovered, and it can be used with ease and can be commercialized easily. Now, this technology was actually discovered by two female scientists. These two female scientists actually won an award won a Nobel Prize for chemistry for their work in this field. Emanuela Japenta and Jennifer Dodd. Prize for chemistry in 20. That's last year, October. In terms of some of this Sorry for the technical glitch. Sorry for that. I think if you can hear me very well, I was talking about the application of this technology in human medicine and also veterinary medicine. Now, in human medicine, this technology can be applied in genetic improvement and also treatment of many diseases, including cancer, sickle cell anemia, and also malaria. Almost all the diseases that you can think of, this technology can be applied to actually advance us into the future of medicine. Now, in veterinary medicine, the technology can be applied in AI, where spermatozoa can be genetically edited, in which you could get some of these features that are actually outlined, where you could have 80 liters of milk per day, the cow having a natural immunity against trans-animal boundary disease and other tropical diseases. Now, thank you. I think that's a big future for you in terms of assisted reproductive technology so far. I always like to end my presentation with the quotes. So this time I'll be quoting, next slide, please. J. Asher. J. Asher has this to say: if you cannot stop the future, you cannot rewind the past. The only way to learn the secret is to press play. Now, let's press play and look forward to the big future. Thank you very much for listening. If you have any questions, comments, observations, contribution, you can go ahead and share them. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Musa, and such a powerful points presentation. Sorry, we're supposed to have two presenters. Fortunately, I'm not sure the second presenter is able to join us. Probably was occupied or something.
Yeah, he's on. He'll be coming out soon.
Okay. So probably.
Yes, just a minute. He'll be on. Yeah.
Okay.
Hello.
Oh, okay.
I'm on.
I don't know. Yeah. Please, let's be sure. Do you
I'll be sharing his slides for you.
Okay.
I'll send you.
So let me.
Yes,
okay. So, while we wait to do all the background work, if you have any question for Dr. Musa Tanko, you can just click on raise hand. You'll be given an opportunity to ask a question, and then Dr. Musa will answer while we wait for the second presentation. And if you are in an environment that is noisy, you can also try to send your question through chat. We can also pick it from chat and then attend to it. Thank you. So any questions? You can either send your question to the chat box, or you can raise your hand and then you will be given opportunity to talk. Or better still, we can also attend to the second. Okay, I think somebody is sending a question in. Dr. Musa, can you check the chat and try to answer the question, please?
Oh, okay, sir. I'll do that, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Dr. Musa, if you can hear me, somebody said thanks, Dr. Musa. Please, what's the success rate of artificial insemination in Nigeria at the moment? Dr. Musa, are you there? Well, I'm not sure Dr. Musa can hear us anymore. Please, if the second presenter is ready, I've helped you to present the slide, then you can go ahead, please.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, good morning. My name is Dr. Mohammed Saifullah Umar.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. My name is Dr. Mohammed Saifullah Umar. Here to give a brief, there's just a brief topic of assessment of artificial insemination in Nigeria, problems, market, and next feature. Dr. Musa have said a lot on the background information, so I will try as much as possible to actually pick point of the most important point in the presentation. Please, next slide. All right. By the word artificial insemination, a layman will be wondering what does it all entails. Simply taking a sperm or semen sample from a male animal and then mechanically inserting such sperm into the natural orifice of the vagina of the animal. It is a biotechnology that is worldwide accepted and used, and because of its relevance now, artificial insemination is a topic of the day. Artificial insemination does not only limit itself when it has to go that technical, when the use of all the technicalities of collecting sperm, preservation, and using of AI gun to inseminate a cow. Now, it will surprise you, a local man in Nigeria living in a bush can have an idea of their own way of artificial insemination, whereby they can manually collect sperm and then using simple syringe to inseminate another cow. Next slide, please. Among the importance of artificial insemination includes from a single ejaculate of a male now, you can use it to service a lot of female animals across board. And then because some bulls are very valuable with high genetic relevance, so using such ejaculate from a single bull can be used to spread the genetic information across different females. And then it is part of the behavior of some animal if you observe in a farm, whereby a bull can decide to choose or select female animal that though they are all on heat, but he will decide to choose only few that you get mounted in. And please, can you unmute? All right. So that preferential mating that is being observed, whereby you get a very prized bull just for it to be selecting the female that you get mounted to. So using AI, you tend to avoid this preferential mounting. And then crossbreeding of animals from a very large distance area is very possible with artificial insemination. And then diluting the semen and make it in a very larger volume compared to when a single ejaculate would be wasted on a single female animal is one of the another advantage of artificial insemination in cattle. Please, next slide. All right. Another important aspect of artificial insemination is prevention of disease transmission. Normally, when a semen is collected and diluted using extenders, an antibiotic is added, and that antibiotic will help in killing bacterial infection within the semen. And so by so doing, you are likely going to narrow the chances of transmitting infection from that bull animal to the female animal, or vice versa, because sometimes the female animal will be infected. By using a natural mating, your intact male will get infected, and subsequent transmission of such infection to another female animal is very possible. And then in a situation like this, whereby hunting has become a norm, an animal that is normally present in abundance have now going into extinction. So when this is observed, use of AI to store as enough possible number of specimens from such endangered animal is very possible. So AI can help in conserving the germplasm of such endangered species. Next slide. There are some basic requirements for AI to take place. Among such includes collection of semen. By this, you can use artificial vagina in ruminants. This artificial vagina, it can be both intact, or sometimes you can improvise. So in either way, the use of artificial vagina is necessary, because collecting semen has to be in a way that the total ejaculate collected should be wholesome. For you to get a wholesome semen, then you have to control the channel of getting that semen. So an artificial vagina basically will help you in guiding the penis of the male animal directly into the collecting test tube through the artificial vagina. But boa and dog semen is usually collected by manual stimulation. Getting them trained to mount a dummy or to mount a female animal and get semen through use of artificial vagina is not a common practice in boa and dog. And then immediately after collecting the semen, another important thing is now processing such semen. As we have earlier stated in the advantage of the AI, now is how can you multiply a single ejaculate into multiple shots that can serve several animals at a time. Such, you use an extender, and then doses of such semen containing specific number of spermatozoa can be used to inseminate different animal at a time. Next slide, please. Now, after processing, it is not all the time that you use the whole of your semen sample collected. In most of the cases, there is option of say in such you can have a fresh semen and then a stored semen, and then you can cryopreserve the semen. Apart from preservation, extra detection and evaluation, because now we have finished with the male, you are coming to the female, you are about to inseminate. And so on the female, the first thing is to observe a female that is an estrus. By so doing, there are some basic estrus signs that has been observed with the animal on standing heat. Among such include vocalization or resting, leaching on the vulva, vaginal discharge, and mounting of the cow. The most important is the cow to stand to be mounted. Next slide, please. After observing the animal is on heat, is the most important aspect of AI is the deposition of semen into the female genital tract. A ruminant and primates, for instance, semen is deposited directly into the vagina. This is when talking about the natural mating. In natural mating, the bull release all the semen and the vagina. But when talking about AI, your aim as an inseminator is to deposit a semen sample directly into the uterus. And in horses, a semen is directly inseminated. I mean, in horses, natural mating, a semen is directly deposited in the uterus. So unlike a ruminant in the natural mating, whereby it is deposited in the vagina. But sheep and goats have a very difficulty in what? Using artificial insemination or using AI gun to inseminate sheep and goats, simply because the nature of their cervix is so tortuous or has a complex folding nature that will not permit easy access or easy passage of the insemination catheter or insemination gun. Next slide, please. Some of the problem or challenges or some of the factors you consider while administering a semen in a form of artificial insemination in female animal include body condition score, because it's not just merely an animal is female that is due or has screened itself into artificial insemination. No, there are some conditions or situations that you consider. An animal with a body condition score of 2/5, if you are taking a 5 as a score, is not fit for artificial insemination. In animal, maturity is a measure of body mass. So an animal that is not matured, or it is matured but in extreme deprivation of nutrition, is not fit for artificial insemination. And for that, any artificial insemination conducted on such poorly conditioned animal would mean a waste of semen sample. And also the time of insemination is very important. An animal can come into estrus now, and you observe all the estrus sign and behavior, but that does not qualify such animal to be inseminated at that time. That's what is called the EMMPM rule, meaning that when an animal comes into heat in the morning, leave it till later in the evening, then you inseminate. The essence is to give a 12-hour interval in such, especially for cattle, that ovulation probably must have taken place so that you do not waste a lot of shots of your semen, and target of fertilization is the most important thing. So the AM/PM rule is in a place that will help a farmer to achieve fertilization with minimal dosage of semen sample. Of course, you have to consider there are some species differences among animals. The same animal, the same geographical location, but just simply because of the difference in species, you realize that you have to use 2 or 3 doses of semen sample for this particular species to come into to get fertilized, while use 1 semen dose to fertilize the other species. And then insemination dose is also important because a bull that you get a sperm several factors in place to deprive such bull of giving you a very quality semen. Such ejaculation that comes with a problem or nutritional deprivation, or problems such as the method of semen collection, can give you less concentration of semen sample. So the lesser the concentration of semen sample, and then going ahead to extend such a semen sample and then use a different dose on different animal, will mean a difference in concentrated semen sample they are depositing. What I mean by that is, when you get an ectant bull that give you about billions of doses of semen sperm cells in a single ejaculate, when it is well fed in certain condition or season of the year, is not equally the same ejaculates that will contain the same number of active motile semen sperm sample that you get in different unfavorable condition. And as such, doing the same thing, like extending it with the same extender and storage, and then inseminating the same cows, will tends to have different results at different time. The next slide, please. There are some challenges that farmers normally face, especially when there is a questionnaire or interaction with the farmers. One of such is that inadequate number of genetically improved breeds of the animal. You can't face any farmer in the farm today and say you want to improve his breed of animal and simply to believe you. So what a farmer, especially there is a recent studies we had, which shows the level of acceptance or adoption of AI in rural farmers. Most of them are having a complaint that when you say you want to improve our farm or you want to improve our species of animal, let us see examples around us. So this inadequate of genetically improved breeds going around in the local population is another problem. And then the power supply too. Sometimes you need to process this semen sample. You need to store it. You need to after storing, depending on what type of storage, you need to store and then use the semen sample. So power is one of the most important factor there. And then of course, we understand how epileptic the power supply is nowadays. And then awareness is another problem that an artificial insemination is ongoing because an average farmer, that lives in around urban area or in the urban area, from recent conclusive studies shows that about 95% of farmers are aware of artificial insemination that lives in the urban areas. But one of the problem is those that live in the rural areas. In the rural areas, most of the farmers are not aware of artificial insemination, and because of the level of let me say the level of the security situation of the country, it is not easy for most of the rural farmers to house the animal nowadays. And so information about artificial insemination is another problem that the farmers will always complain to you. I didn't mean this issue. I didn't mean this information has reached them earlier. They wouldn't have kept a lot of male animal within their stock that attract most of these intruders into their farm. And then there is another very important problem that artificial insemination is facing, that is poor attention to livestock farming. Most of the topic when you heard of farming, it will be like going to farm, cropping, pasture production. Basically, an average person will tell you this is what is called farming. So livestock is not given so much attention that it requires. By building research centers, basic training, and of course, coming with artificial insemination or any other assisted reproductive technology to a farmer that is less aware of this kind of information will not easily accept it. We also tend to realize that about 70 to 80% of our total livestock population is within nomadic planning herdsmen, where they move around with their animals searching for pasture. And of course, that has seriously affected the level at which AI will be impactful in the society. And another important one, because of I'm looking at the time, another important one is shortage of human skills and training. Training to use AI gun, preserving of the semen, collecting of the semen, not, let me not say too easy for someone that will just go and be trained in one day and come back and adopt it. So it requires frequent practice and then level of experience for these skills to be passed on. So use of artificial insemination is hindered in some society, especially where this level of skill or human trained personnel is not available. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Hello, next slide. Can we move to the next slide? Please, the admin should take note and move us to the next slide. All right.
Hello, what's happening here? Next slide, please.
Yes, sure. All right. With the growing, please can you go a little bit back to the previous slides? All right. Okay. Okay. Good. And then talking about the market and the future of artificial insemination, one basic important thing that will always be asked about artificial insemination is what is the cost of a semen? When we all know we can borrow a bull from a neighborhood to serve our female animal and get it genetically, like we can get a potent bull with us, how can we accept a semen sample? What is the cost? That is the first question we asked. Now we find out that a sex semen, where you can choose and have a liberty of selecting either male or female, costs about 20,000 naira. And while the unsex semen about 12,000 naira. And the synchronizing agent about, depending on what type of synchronization weight, on average will cost you about 20,000 naira. Then the cost per unit of a cow to inseminate a cow will cost you nearly about 40,000 naira. This market analysis is somehow discouraging for some farmers, but with the current reality of the situation now is fair. Looking at how can you have a Frisian bull at the cost of 40,000, just 40,000 naira. So most of the farmers didn't believe that 40,000 is enough for a probability of getting a male or female animal from a different species. But this is some of the market feature of AI, which is very less costly, which is cost effective compared to the when hiring or getting a bull to come and serve the female animal. Next slide, please. With the growing population of Nigeria rapidly, there is an estimate by FAO by 2050, the population is going to be about 400 billion. And you believe it me today, most of the yogurt you take are not coming from direct direct natural milk from a cow. It's most of the time coming from a powdered imported milk. And with the intensive changes from 1% now, there is advancement in the level of AI requirements in the community. Now, looking at those factors with the population increase and the requirement of dairy and beef products, a lot of farms are now established across different areas of the economy. Now, look at your location. I can randomly select 2 or 3 states, for instance, Kaduna and Adamawa, and come back to Kano. You realize that there is growing increase in making an intensive rearing of cows and continuous and active participation of such farmers in AI in sort of their farms. Sorry. And for that reason, the chances of AI employment the chances of involvement of AI in insemination to replace a natural mating is increasing. And as such, the statistics from FAO now in Nigeria have shown that intensive system of management of cow or most livestock animal that was earlier before it was just 1%, about 99% of such animals were on the nomadics, now has risen up to about 33%. 33% is a significant improvement, and we're hoping with time more than 80 or 90% of animal will be reared intensively through ranching, and AI will be the next option. Next slide, please. Again, with the estimation of number of animals that we have, and cattle and sheep goat rustling, as of 2017, I have about 18.4 million cattle, 43.4 sheep, and 76 million goats. Now, this population are winding down to rustling, communal socio-communal crisis that result in a lot of casualties, not only in humans, but also in animals. That has intimidated the Nigerian government to put in place what they call National Livestock Transformation Plan that targets between 2019 to 2028 to ensure that livestock sector becomes a catalyst for building national prosperity. And by such doing, the aim is just to mitigate the crisis that exists between the farmers and the settled farmers and pastoralists, and also to the normal developmental sector of livestock in Nigeria. And as such, information from gathering and how the level of implementation of this program is going on shows that there is advancement and improvement in level at which farmers are able to accept ranching, and also the pastoralists, most of them are able now to believe that ranching or intensive or semi-intensive method of rearing animal is the basic or necessary option with the advancement of technologies now. And if we have succeeded in this, AI is going to be next available option, because no one will have a bull, 2 or 3 bulls in a farm that will be feeding at a cost that is not going to be gainful for the farmer. Next slide, please. The wide-scale adoption of AI in Nigeria will see development of a more productive cattle population, and by such, improvement on cattle population through AI will make farmers to adopt AI, and we have seen a lot of progress nowadays. Next slide, please. In conclusion, we understand that AI has several advantages, such as reducing the risk of separate, cost effectiveness, and several other ones. At the end, it is very possible to understand that a semen collected using AI can either be sexed to be male or female, depending on the priority of the farmer, and such can help in determining the feature of your stock. The feature of a stock now, a farmer can think of keeping an animal basically for meat or dairy, and such AI has bring such development and help farmers to decide which sector of the economy is he heading to. And then, despite the benefit of AI, of course, there are challenges that may affect the adoption and utilization of this technology in National Livestock Transformation Plan, among which includes some diseases are spread, even though it is meant to prevent spread of diseases, but there are some viral diseases and some silent bacterial diseases that does not show, or they will have some resistant bacterial strains that are resistant to the antibiotic added to semen, and of course, sperm and milk can be another method of spreading the disease. Another important limitation is improper heat detection and lack of adequate record by cattle owners. And this, I will emphasize here that most of the farmers will complain to you that they are not against AI, but their basic problem is the real timing of insemination. And because of the level of nutrition and feed, because we cannot differentiate between feeding and the rate of estrus response, most of the animals, once they're deprived of food, tends to show low level of estrus response. And of course, we have a lot of female animal coming into a silent heat. Animal on silent heat means that they'll come into heat and then not much of the visible estrus sign will be detected, except if you have a bull that can easily sniff and take a chance and indicate to the animal is on heat. So I was able to find out that there are some recent advancements, like some of the rapid progesterone kits available that can easily differentiate between, if you have a profile record, to indicate to you when progesterone has peaked from the conception and progesterone that has peaked not actually from conception but normal estrus period. So such differences can quickly help you once you realize that the animal is supposed to have come on heat at a period of time, and you take sample and realize the progesterone has peaked, then you put an eye to actual or probable time of ovulation and you inseminate the animal. And then 2 or 1 week or 10 days after, you can also take another sample and then analyze the progesterone and realize if the animal has actually conceived. Next slide, please. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, this is a very high opener, a great one. Thank you very much, Doctor, for coming around and for your presentation. There are a lot of questions already. I think before we ask people to raise their hands, there are some questions that we think we should quickly address because of our time so that we can quickly give an answer to that. Somebody said, what is the success rate of artificial insemination in Nigeria at the moment? And I think the person is directing the question to Dr. Musa. So either of you can answer the question. Thank you.
All right. And let me address the question of sex semen. If it costs 20 and spermatization costs 20, cost per unit of the cow is 40,000. Now, with the level of adoption of AI, normally what you charge a farmer for is per unit is 3,000 to 4,000. Not much enough. 3,000 to 4,000, that's what you normally charge a farmer, and for simply inseminating his cow. But before then, you have to come and do pregnancy evaluation, because some farmers will not be aware that the animal are pregnant, and you go and synchronize an animal to cause abortion for you only to inseminate the animal again, which doesn't make sense again. And somebody's asked us, I don't know if it is, I think this should be addressed to Musa, how semen is sexed into male and female. But if the, hello?
Hello, Doc. Let me just attempt that question. Can you hear me?
Okay, go ahead, please.
Yeah. Okay. Principally, like I said during my presentation, there's the technology that has been actually patented for that. It has been there for a very long time, but just that they've improved on it. It's called flow cytometer, in which the suspended semen will pass through the laser beam and the detector too. Actually, the principle is based on the fact that the X chromosome actually has a lot of DNA compared to the Y chromosome in a semen or in a sperm cell. Now, for the X and Y chromosome, the difference between the X and the Y chromosome in terms of the presence of the DNA is between 2.4 3%. So a sperm cell that has a difference of 2.4% difference, when detected, it could be termed as a female sperm cell, and it will be sorted out based on that, based on the flow cytometer equipment that I mentioned earlier. I don't know if Dr. Adamawa can please share my slide for us to see that. I don't know if you have any addition to that, Dr. Mohammed Saifullah.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I think that's much I can say about that.
So I don't know if there's any further questions from some of the participants for us.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you for the wonderful presentations. Even though I was a bit late for the presentation, I attended the second one. It was quite. I have a few questions. Number one, Is there a specific volume of semen that is used to inseminate a cow? Is there a specific volume, or you just do it as using one's discretion? There is a specific volume. That's the first question. The second one is, given the cost of estimation up to 20,000, when compared to the use of test kits like P4 Gold, is there any economic advantage using P4 Gold and some of these other, estrus detecting techniques? Those are my questions, please, for now.
All right, thank you. Can I go ahead?
Yes, go ahead.
Go ahead, doctor.
Okay, good. And there are, of course, when talking about inseminating a cow, the semen are inseminated, they come in straw. Each straw has specific volume. The essence of narrowing the volume to be that large enough is simply because you want to minimize and utilize the most efficient sperm concentrated from a single ejaculate. So the volume is not living at stake, that you can see any specific volume. Once you're familiar with a straw, you realize the content of straw is not that much. And talking about the P4 Gold, I get to know P4 Gold recently, not that much. I don't have much background, but I understand the background information about all it takes in determining pregnancy. You have to understand that pregnancy is in stages. When detecting pregnancy, there are several methods that can detect pregnancy. But the most important thing in pharma is how early enough can you detect pregnancy, and what significant can that detection give to you in your family. Assuming you have inseminated an animal that has come into heat, and then you kept waiting for about 38 or 28 minimal for ultrasound to detect fetal heartbeat, to detect pregnancy, and something can come in between in form of early embryonic mortality or early fetal death. So using merely progesterone assay can quickly give you an inside information that this animal must have probably conceived. For instance, what we know as a basic knowledge, not to go deep technically, an animal, once it comes into estrus, it has what is called progesterone. And that progesterone is produced from the ovulation and is increasing in concentration. So after insemination, the progesterone is expected to rise or continuously be maintained in the system, such that the fertilization that has resulted from that semen insemination should have been maintained by this progesterone. So quickly, when you take a sample using this like P4 Gold or any other progesterone assay method, or taking when it is like testing out the milk, or maybe it's a primer, you take the serum sample, you can quickly see a rise of this progesterone concentration from that 21 days, maybe like a week after, around that 20, from that 14 to 21, 27 days. Once you see a peak of progesterone concentration, you know the animal is pregnant. Now what is relatively in question now is, what is the cost of this technique? What is the cost of this detection aids? Hopefully, I guess I know little about them, but the cost is relatively less that high that can deprive a farmer to detect pregnancy by just taking such litmus tests. So personally, I think it's like an upward review in the sector of artificial insemination by introducing such kind of kits in detecting pregnancy. I don't know if I've said something about your question. Hello?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you very much. Let me add a bit. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, can you please share slide 12? Slide number 12. Yeah, thank you. It is as if I skipped that too. The advent of The advent of P4 Gold test kit has become a game changer for heat detection. One of the primary setbacks for AI insemination is tied to heat detection. So farmers tend to have difficulties in detecting heat, like Dr. Saifullah actually said in his presentation. You find it difficult to detect silence and also standing heat. So farmers farmers can actually see some of the signs, but for the silent heat, they wouldn't. So P4 Gold test kit, in terms of the principle behind it, is tied to the presence of progesterone. That's the hormone for pregnancy, right? So it will tell you whether the animal, if the animal is on heat, the progesterone level will drop. And if you can check my slide very well, you can see that's actually me tests. Demonstrating the test procedure to one of the inseminators in the field. So the test kit actually gives you the opportunity to know whether the animal is on heat, standing heat, or the animal is in silent heat. Now, for a positive test, it will show you the test line will actually be brighter than the control line. Sorry, I would have, I didn't envisage this question. I would have actually project some of this thing for you to see properly. But in terms of the cost, I think relative to other heat detection kits that are flying around, I think this is the relatively cheap, the cheapest that I have seen in the field so far, and is very, 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 very precise. And I've used it in the field. I can testify to you. I can tell you in Adamawa, what we have in Adamawa, we've been having a lot of success rate in terms of heat detection and also pregnancy testing, especially at day 21 for the cows in the field. And so averagely, you could find a test strip for P4 Gold costing you around 1,500 to and above there about. I don't know, but I think Dr. Adebayo will shed more light on the cost, but it ranges between that value from 1,500 to 2,000 there about. So if you look at it relatively to the cost of you wasting your time and wasting your semen without actually knowing whether the animal is on heat or not, you could see that it's actually cost effective for you. Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Musa. Let me just come in. Well, it depends on the quantity that is purchased, but we are planning that it shouldn't even be more than 1,500 naira. That is the plan. Although, you know, how dollar is flying these days, that may be the only, but that is the desire, that is the projection. In short, we were still in discussion yesterday, and we are trying to find the way to even bring it down that it can be sold for 1,000 naira if it is possible. Like, we have not been able to reach an agreement though, but currently it is, we are planning that it shouldn't be more than 1,500 naira. And if you look at spending 43,000 unsuccessfully on just one cow, I think for you to first of all confirm if the cow is ready for insemination with little or no stress, just the use of milk, and then you use that to for confirm before going ahead. It is the most economical approach to eventually attaining success using the kits. Secondly, is the fact that aside from the fact that we can use it for heat detection, there are some other things that the kit can also do, especially for those people in the medical or stroke paramedical line, because there are some research work that we can also use the kit for, and also we can also use it to detect some reproductive diseases, or let me say the reproductive problems in the cow. And thirdly is that farmers, as in, is a technique that farmers, farm technician can do. You don't need to go and call on a specialist or a vet to help you do the protocol. It's what anybody can do. A video will be coming out not long from now, and you're going to see when we try to capture a farm technician doing it by himself without being guided, because he has seen it being done once and again. So we try to make it as acceptable as possible so that it can be used for all, and we can, the goal is just to improve the reproductive performance of our cows in Nigeria. And all of this training are also for the same purpose. And I want to really encourage us that this is one of the things that we should participate in. There are a lot of advancement that is currently even in Nigeria, that our participation in such trainings can only give us the knowledge. Because if we don't participate in the training, we may not even have an idea that those technologies are available in the country, and we are just going to be struggling working alone. Thank you very much. I think there was another question that somebody asked about the success rate in Nigeria. Well, there have not been any recent articles to talk about the success rate, but I've heard some people, well, let me say, from questions and interactions we've had with farmers, there were some of them that told us that the success rate was just about 20% at the first insemination, and there were some that recorded better success rate. But like I said, it's not like it is cast in the stone that we say it is 20% or 30% or 40%. But we know that the percentage is not encouraging to the farmers. And one of the, why trying to find the reason why we have such a high failure rate, one of the things that we realized was that even with estrus synchronization, it is not 100% accurate for timed insemination. And that is another reason why the introduction of these kits is very vital at such a time like this, to be able to encourage farmers to return to the only, let me say, I don't ever use the only means, but the most effective means as at now for increasing our livestock production in Nigeria. I think I've been able to answer the question of the person that asked the question. So if there are some other questions, please, you are free to ask. Do we have any other question, or we should call it a day? So let's just wait for, let me say, 1 more minute.
Hello, sir.
We have anybody? Oh, okay. Please go ahead.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for the wonderful presentation, sir. My question is this, sir. What are the opportunities, or what are those areas of artificial insemination that researchers can focus on in Nigeria?
Oh, good enough. We have a lecturer among us. So over to you, doctor.
Anyway, thank you. There are several areas of, to my unlimited knowledge about that. Now, it is not a new science to say you are studying a semen sample to evaluate the potentiality of such semen sample based on the characteristics, based on the integrity of the membrane. Now, the current research is that is going in area of artificial insemination is a little bit step forward in not studying only the sperm cells now. It is very important to understand that sperm is swimmed within seminal plasma. So now what the study entails now is it has been understood that if not only you are going to use ICSC, that is intracytoplasmic sperm injection, where you're just using only the head of sperm directly into the ovum. Another most important aspect of sperm is the seminal plasma. So studying the protein content and mineral content, that is talking about the level of ions, calcium, minerals, whatsoever, a lot of fertility proteins, a lot of capacitive proteins, a lot of a nutritional balance of such seminal plasma that can even allow the sperm cells to swim up to the target's oocytes. And what do you call it? Now, there is a current research I'm very interested in following. There was cytoarchitecture of the sperm cells now. They have learned to understand that those sperm can be intact physically, but the cytoskeleton of the sperm cells, talking about the strands in the filament of the flagellum of the sperm cells, is a basic area of research to find out the reason behind most of the AI success and AI failure. Because as it stands now, globally, it is an accepted norm that the highest chances of AI success is 60%. That's the highest you can achieve. So now all the study is towards the sperm to realize if there is any research or outcome that can boost the chances of the success rate from that 60 probably to 90, 98%. Thank you. I don't know if I've said something about this. Hello.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. I really appreciate his contributions. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. So I don't know if there are some other questions so that we can wrap things up.
Hello, sir.
Please
Hello.
try to mute your microphone. Okay, yes, you can go ahead. Ask the question.
Okay. You hear me, sir?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, please, sir. Just something that he said. He said that the sources of AI is it 50% or 60?
Okay, so like I said, I said that we have not had any documentation that we can make reference to in recent times that this is the accurate percentage of artificial insemination in Nigeria. But during our course of this project, we have decided to interact with farmers, and we have seen varied percentage from south to north. And that's the reason why it is very difficult for us to pin it down to a particular percentage. We've seen a farm that had 20%, and then we've seen a farm at first artificial insemination, and then we've seen a farm that had more than that. So it's because we were forced to interact with them because of the fact that we realized that many of them were being skeptical, going for artificial insemination, which they are convinced that it is what they are supposed to do, but they were reluctant going for it because of their past experiences. So that's the reason why we had to start working on it. We are currently working with Sahel Consulting for the housing program to be able to pin it down that, okay, what is the success rate and how can we improve on the current status of the artificial insemination success in Nigeria. So by the end of this project, we should be able to come back to you with an averagely standard percentage success rate of artificial insemination, because there are a lot of contributing factors, ranges for the technician, to the cow herself, to the semen, to the source of the semen, to the handling of the semen, to the detection of so many factors. So if we say it is 40%, we may not be accurately right, because there are some people that had all of those factors well taken care of and had a better success. But like I said, we are currently working on it, and we're going to come back to you after the end of this project that we're currently running with a relatively accurate figure.
Okay, sir. I'm not quarreling with the figure because it is not. It's not actually your problem whether succeeds or not, because just like you said, a lot of factors are contributory to the success and failure of that. The issue is this. One thing is very clear. If that kit is working, it's working.
Yeah.
Okay. It's working, it's working. Then the only thing I have to say here as an animal nutritionist is that part of the problems, I'm only making contribution. No.
Please go ahead, sir.
Am I free to go on?
Yes, please go ahead.
So the part of the problem with animal management in Nigeria is nutrition. Nutrition is part of the problem because most people don't think that they can really organize the nutrition of their animals in such a way that they can have maximum results, even during insemination or during mating. So part of the, like most people will feed animals anything they see, anything that they have, but it doesn't work that way because some of these things may also affect the hormonal balance and other, aspects of, the physiology of the animal. So these are some of the problems. The only thing that we want to know, personally, that I want to know is that if that kit is working, it is working. You understand me?
Yeah, I do.
It's the most important thing to me personally, because if it is working, it is working. Forget about the other factors. That is not your problem for now. The only thing is that when you have farmers who have animals, it is also good to look at how they feed these animals, the management of these animals. Because before you now see the handling of the sperm or the expertise and all that. Because I have some clients who do all sorts of things, who do all sorts of things while in the management of their animals. And this can be contributory to, AI failure. They do all sorts of things. They feed all sorts of things to the animals. And some of these things can affect the animals, taking in and all that.
Thank you so much, sir. We really appreciate your contribution. If you listen to one of the lecturers that just, the presenter that just gave us this seminar, we realized that he made mention of the fact that body condition score is important before artificial insemination. And there is a direct link of nutrition to body condition score. So we don't shy away from the fact that nutrition plays a major role in the success of artificial insemination. It is a message we preach. And we know that for sure. And that is one of those things that we tell the farmer, either we can go ahead with artificial insemination or not, based on the body condition score. And if the body condition score is poor, like 2 or less, like you mentioned, we don't even encourage anybody to go ahead with artificial insemination, not because of the money. As in, we wouldn't want anybody to go ahead because I want to make money. No. Let the farmer know that the nutrition on the farm of this particular cow is poor, and something should be done before returning to do the artificial insemination. So we can also help ourselves to encourage the success rate of artificial insemination by not just trying to make money at the expense of the farmers struggling to even make a living, but to at least let's be clear with our decision and give them information that they need in order to know that, okay, we are not just trying to slight them or to belittle them, but the fact is that the animal has not been well fed, and something must be done before we can go ahead with the artificial insemination. Thank you for your contribution, sir.
And sir, just one thing before I quit. I told you the first time we had a meeting, the first time we had we met. I told you I was interested in the small ruminant aspect. Though you told that time that you have not started that in Nigeria here, but please have me in mind anytime that that I can have the key and have some instructions on that. I'm also interested in cattle. Cattle is not everywhere, and small ruminants, particularly in the southeast, we have more of them. So please have me.
No problem, sir. I will surely certainly do that. All right, we may not be able to take more questions now because we spent about 1.5 hours already. I want to appreciate everybody that has come, the contribution, the participation, the presentation. All our wonderful presenters, we really appreciate you because it's a sacrifice for the benefit of the whole nation. We are very grateful. I just want to tell us that this training continues every Thursday of this month of September. EMMSAR Veterinary Medical Diagnostic Service is celebrating our first anniversary, and that is why we are doing this for the benefit of the farmer and professionals around the livestock industry. So we're going to be giving continue with in next week. We're going to livestock care, management, technology, and international opportunity. That is what we'll be considering next week with wonderful presenters. The slide of that will be coming out very soon. So please stay with us as we run the whole training throughout this month, and invite other people. Please help us to share so that we can help the nation, livestock industry in the nation, to develop and grow tremendously. And that is all we can do to be able to help for now. I want to thank everybody once again, and I want to say, see you next week, and bye for now.
Bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much for this wonderful presentation. Thank you. See you next week.